Hi, it's Ellen Violette, and today I want to talk about three big marketing mistakes authors make that can cost you book sales. So, the first thing that I want to say is that you don't have to be a newbie to make these mistakes. I see these mistakes made all the time, and even by people who are experts. And I actually want to share a story about that. I was watching Undercover Boss. And what they were doing was they gave a billionaire $100. They sent him to a town where he didn't know anybody. And they said, okay, now build $1 million company or make $1 million into the company in 90 days. And so the billionaire went to a junkyard because the first stage, he said, was for survival. And he was looking for things that he could sell. And so he found some stuff and he put it on Craigslist and nothing sold. And then he started to panic because he was running out of money and then he wouldn't be able to stay in a hotel or eat. And so what he said to himself was, oh my God, I made a rookie mistake, which was I didn't look to see what people are buying. So the first thing is you want to look to see what people are buying. So what he did was he went back onto Craigslist and he looked at what people were buying, like what was actually selling. And then he went back to the junkyard and he got those items, which was iron rod and big tires for trucks. And with that, he was able to sell enough to get his business off the ground. So, so don't feel bad if you've ever done that because you're not alone. So that is stage one. So what can you sell to make the money to launch a business, or in this case, to launch your book? So a lot of times people come to me and they think they're going to write their book and that's going to give them the money to launch their business. That is backwards, because you're going to need editing, formatting, book covers. If you're not good at all these things, you don't want to do these yourself. If you want to be a serious author, it's just not going to work. So you've got to have capital. So that's the deal with that. So you always want to do with a book the marketing research before you start writing your book. I mean, this is one of the things that I'm just like, I just say over and over and over again, because people generally don't do it. They write their book and then they start thinking about, oh, now I have to market it. When in fact, you should think about marketing before you write your book, because there are a lot of elements that go into setting your book up properly so that you can write a book that's going to be a bestseller and is going to sell. You have to have the right keywords. You have to have the right categories for Amazon or anywhere. You have to have the right title, which ties back to the keywords. It has to connect with your audience. And how is it going to connect if you don't know what they want or what they're looking up, or how they think about it? So you have to know these things. And then, like, what's your call to action? Like, what do you want people to do after they read the book? And then you work backwards. So you need to know all these things, and it all ties back to, what do people want? And what are they waiting to buy? What is going to excite them about your project that's going to make them buy your book over all the other books? So that's why number one is so important. Number two is they aren't clear about what their book is about. So you'd think if somebody wrote a book, they would know what their book is about, but that's not always true. So for instance, I worked with somebody where she had already written her book when she came to me, and I don't remember the title, but it was something about death. And the problem with it was that her book was not about death. Her book was about the afterlife. And in her case, she was lucky because we were able to swap out the word death for afterlife and it still worked. But sometimes that's not the case. And then you just have to scrap the whole thing and start over. You have to decide, are you going with that title, or are you going with the topic that you wrote in the book, and then trying to write the title after the fact? And it's a lot harder, and sometimes it just doesn't work. So you always want to be clear about what your book is about. And the other thing is like, if you've got a book title that has death in it, but your book's about the afterlife, and now your book is in Kindle or Amazon, and you've now got keywords that are related to death, and you've got categories related to death, And now people go to buy your book and they think it's about death and they find out it's about the afterlife. They're not going to be happy. And when they're not happy, they're not going to give you good reviews. They're going to give you bad reviews. And then Amazon's going to be upset because there's a disconnect and they want their customers to have a good experience. So, the ultimate thing that can happen with that is you could, I guess you could get banned, or, they could tell you to pull it down or rewrite it or something. I don't know, because I've never had that happen. But I can tell you it's not good, and that their focus is making sure that their customers are happy and have a good experience. So that would not be a good experience. Okay. Now, the third one is you have a topic, you know what your topic is, you've written your book, but you're not connecting with your audience. So for instance, let's say you are writing a book that you think is about fitness and health, because it is about fitness and health, but that's your focus. You don't want people to get diabetes. You want them to be strong. You want them to be healthy. But if your target market isn't thinking about that, if your target market is thinking, I want to lose 10 pounds and look better in my dress, I'm going to a reunion and I want to wow everybody, whatever that is. So again, you have to meet your ideal market where they are, not where you think they should be, or not where you want them to be, or not how you would like ideally to approach the topic. So, luckily this is not hard to change, because all you have to do is ask. So, find out where your ideal clients are. If you're already working with clients, go to them and ask people, if I were writing this book, what would you, how would you find it? And what about it would appeal to you, if anything? And so you just start asking them, and then you'll get a much clearer idea of where they're coming from. So too many times what'll happen is, one of the things that I do with my clients right off the bat is I call my Crushing Kindle Marketing and Visibility Study, because I want to make sure that we have that foundation, that people are grounded in what they're doing. But if you have done the wrong keywords, then if you're expecting people to look up fitness and health, but they're looking up weight loss and I don't know, because I haven't done the research on it, but weight loss and looking great or something. I mean, whatever the words would be that they would use. And of course, that's another thing you can find out by asking them. If you listen to what people say, they'll tell you exactly how they would look it up, because it's how they talk and it's what they're thinking. So, so that's all you have to do. And as I said, if you don't have ideal clients yet, go into groups of your ideal clients and ask there. And, sometimes what happens is, though, I can even tell people this, and sometimes they'll still revert back to the way that they were thinking about it. And that's where a coach can really help, because sometimes it's like a muscle, that you're used to using a certain way. Or like in my case, I fell. And so I am favoring the other side. And then that created an imbalance. So I'm favoring, one way of doing it, but my body wants to go back to the way that it's always done it, right? Or at least recently. So it's the same with people. It's like they'll get it in their mind that this is how they're thinking about their book. And then I show them how, or their audience shows them how they're doing it wrong. But then their mind, when they go back to writing the copy, they still want to do it the wrong way. So sometimes you have to keep bringing yourself back, or, create Post-it notes and give yourself reminders. So you keep coming back to where your audience is, not to where you want them to be, and not to where they actually are. So I hope that makes sense to everybody. And, so you have to always think about the audience first. That's really the bottom line. What do they want? What are they going to buy? What's that book that you can write, that you want to write, but that they want to buy? And how are you going to position it so that they can find it, connect, and ultimately buy it, and hopefully down the road become a client? So that's it for this video. If you'd like to go deeper, I do offer a bestseller breakthrough consultation. I'm happy to look at your project and see if you've got any blind spots and how I can help. I also have a Rockstar Authors Toolkit, which is free on my website with checklists for writing, creating your bestseller title, getting started marketing your book and your Kindle planner. So you're welcome to go to booksopendoors.com and pick that up as well. That's booksopendoors.com. And you can also connect with me there if you want to set up a time to chat. So, and the other thing I'll just say is that I'm doing Facebook Lives on Wednesday at 3 p.m. in my Facebook group. And that is facebook.com/groups/books open doors. So I hope I'll see you there. Facebook.com/groups/books open doors. So till next time, bye-bye.